Has this ever happened to you? What's up, nerd? We've all been there, right? Picture it. I was sitting there in my blanket pupa, watching Frankenstein with Nick, thinking, should I make that? No. And then my friend Justin in the group chat mentioned that he's dying to make that Crimson Angel statue character. And you guessed it, that was the slight, not even a nudge, just a little that I needed to push me over the edge of actually making this costume. I am going to attempt to make the creature played by Jacob Elordi. I need to make it or I will simply combust. Shall we dig in? I always find it helpful when starting a new cosplay to break it down piece by piece. Look, I need a pointer. Where is my severed hand? First things first. Design. Right, there's a ton of reference images and behind the scenes photos of Mia Goth's dress, but not a lot of the creature. Specifically, I'm doing the version of his costume after he picks up the soldier's coat. It's been a little bit of a challenge in that regard, but let's talk about what you can see and what I have gathered.
The coat that he grabs off of the ground is definitely sort of like a Civil War-esque coat. Made of leather, but I'm gonna opt for making it out of wool to make it a little cheaper. It is weathered to perfection. On the back, there's this really cool spinal cord detail left over by the skeleton that he nabbed it off of. The ultimate goal of this is to wear it to a convention, so practicality in this case is a huge priority.
Welcome back. Shh. Now we can break it into the components. Obviously, the coat, which is what I'm gonna do first. The important part of this costume is the makeup, the wig, and the height. I did order boots that have an 8-inch lift, making me about 6'5", which is Jacob Elordi's height. I'm hoping I can cover this gigantic lift with just slapping a bunch of fake fur on there. And Bob's your uncle. William Frankenstein's your uncle. I have ordered a bunch of facial prosthetics. The hair, I have come up with a bit of a convoluted plan. Behold. So instead of making this with a bald cap, what I'm going to try to do is a more reusable situation. Because this is a cosplay, I want to wear it more than once. And the easiest way that I thought I could do this is, ooh, it smells like caterpillars. This is going to be kind of like a bald cap hat. I quite liked the description of this online. Just looking at his brows, you will feel his angry. If that last line isn't just a description of the movie, I don't know what is. See you on the other side. Oh my God. No. It's the beady eyes looking back at me. I hate it. Oh, I'm claustrophobic. We're gonna chop off 90% of this. God, I hated that. That way we can attach the wig hair on top of this, plop it on every time I need it. Is it gonna work? You know better to ask me that. I don't know. On that note, let me show you the facial appliances.
Righto, so obviously I do not have the silicone pieces that are tailored to my face like they did in the movie. So quite appropriately, I'm going to Frankenstein a few pieces. I've got a square jawline, a zombie eye right and a zombie eye left, and then an aquiline nose. Putting these all together should hopefully give the effect that we desire.
Okay. Whew. That was a lot of preamble. There's a lot of different parts that go into this. Now we can actually get started. We are going to start with the coat. I truly thought about just taking an existing coat and modifying it. That would save me a lot of sanity and time. And I saw some coats that were like almost perfect online. The coat that he grabs for some reason is floor length on him being 6'5". So that is a very tall soldier that he happened to just pick this up off of the ground, but hey. All of the coats that I could find weren't gonna be long enough. And if they were floor length, that would be just on my height. But I'm gonna be much taller, so I need it to be even longer than that. I want to have full control over the shape, the movement of this. I struggled a little bit with material. Joanne is no longer with us. So I did some searching on fabric stores in my general area, and I found one in Boston. So we headed there because it was very important for me to actually feel the fabric. Here it is. 8 yards of a very, very thin wool material. It's kind of like felt, deep blue. I will be weathering this probably beyond recognition, but if you look at some of the reference photos without color grading and stuff, it is quite blue. A good base to start with. The pattern I'm using is this one. I'm gonna need to lengthen it and also add that little like capelet on top. This was around $80, I think. So definitely not cheap, but could have been way worse. Let's get started.
Let me tell you right now, this pattern is huge. Then had to figure out how much length I was adding onto this in the most scientific way possible. In the end, I decided 6 inches length extra would work.
Okay, so I'm changing this a little bit. The piece for the back is supposed to be 2 pieces, so it kind of has that like nice seam down the back. But I think one of the coolest parts of this coat is that it has that spinal cord detail. I really want to do that. I'm pretty sure there's no back seam for that. So I'm just gonna put this on the fold so that it's one big panel for the back, and then the spinal cord can go right down there.
This is about when I realized me and the creature, we're really not so different.
Holy I'm gonna sew this all together and I'll see you tomorrow. This thing is absolutely ludicrous. Yep. Every single animal, dander, or hair that was in this house, it's now here. She's big, as she ought to be. Quite nice. It's like a big blanket.
Goodbye.
Big sewing day today. I need to get the base of this done so that we can start weathering, because I think that process might take a little bit. So much real estate of fabric here. My next steps: sleeves, collar, the little cape. It's gonna be so destroyed by the end that I'm not gonna go too hard on myself. No! Let's go.
I decided to just drape the little capelet on top because it is sort of just like a skirt, and so I just decided the length that I wanted and just tried to cut as across as I could.
All right, fabric stash time. When thinking about the collar, number one, I'm gonna need some interfacing. And then I'm not sure how important this is in the long run, but it's gonna bug me if I don't do it. The inner side of his collar, definitely like a suede, very, very distressed leather hide. So I don't have a lot of suede, but what I do have is this box of leather that someone sent me. Their partner took apart a couch that was being thrown away. On this side, it's this suede material, so I'm wondering if I can use this.
But first, I am modifying the collar pattern piece just a little bit to make it just a little bit more dramatic. I was a little nervous bringing this to my machine because it was pretty thick, but hey, she did beautifully. My little trucker. Finally, I had enough of all the pieces to put together the coat, and oh my god.
Oh, you caught me pondering. Step into my office. Today, I want to figure out the spinal cord detail. My guess is that they wet formed the leather around, a spinal cord, and it just remained that shape. Since mine is not leather, we have to get a little creative. Enter Hermie, my beloved friend and dungeon dweller. If we take a look at his anatomy, much like the coat, the neck bones protrude smooth until this part of the spine. The question is, do I make spine pieces or do I harvest it from our friend here? It would make me kind of sad, but it's for science.
These pieces as is were not as dramatic as I was hoping, but thankfully a very important item appeared in the mail. Yeah! The art book for the movie came in, and I cannot tell you how important this was for the rest of the process. Because of the lack of reference photos online, having these detailed, high-quality photos was such a game changer. Armed with the information, I decided to make the spinal cords a little bit more dramatic, wearing proper PPE, of course. I'm already chock full of microplastics, I don't need any more, okay. I also switched up the anatomy a little so the longer piece goes up top and the shorter piece down below. Taking my favorite thing, epoxy sculpt, which is part A and part B. It is very, very important to get equal parts and mix it all the way, which when you have the wrist strength of a fettuccine that's been at a water park all day, it's quite difficult.
Eventually.
But once it's all mixed together, it sticks like a dream, and you just kind of put it on there, mold it, and let it set overnight. Woo-wee, we're already fighting the daylight here. I love winter. I am going to do the majority of the weathering tomorrow, but right now, we can at least. I'm just gonna make everything super rugged, cut off probably a decent portion of the bottom, and then the handy dandy book. Copy the tiny little holes everywhere. Let's get destructive. I gotta say, it was weirdly therapeutic to destroy what I just spent so much time making. I finished it out, and then the next day I focused on kind of the boring details. I needed to make the belts in the back and then the pockets. Switching back to the spinal cord detail now that the epoxy was all set, it was still quite difficult to tell what this was going to look like, so I decided to just give it a go. I did this little by little, applying hot glue and then immediately putting the fabric over it and forming it to the little shapes. Then just covering up the back with an extra scrap of fabric so that it wouldn't scrape against my back. was really not sure this was gonna work, and I was quite pleased, as you can tell by my totally normal reaction.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow. Are you ready? I'm gonna wreck it. It is now my favorite part of the process, weathering, aka wholly and utterly destroying. Jacket is nearly complete. We still have to do the details and stuff. I am going to weather it first. I just gotta stand on my tippy toes. So what does weathering this mean? Essentially, it means painting. Normally when I am weathering something to look old, aged, destroyed, there's a lot of sanding and ripping and tearing. The thing about this that is very specific to this project is that since the original is made out of leather, there's not a lot of fraying and texture going on. These kind of cartoony tears are actually what we need. I just need to start painting this entire thing, which is a little daunting because it's a lot of real estate, okay? Completely match the reference photo, both in color and in decimation. This coat is meant to look like it was laying on the forest floor for however long, I don't know. The shadows, the grime. Final step, we'll be adding all of the highlights, edges of everything,
Bringing out the height of that spine.
and then, as a final step, I have purchased weathering powder. Hello. Focus. And then, next, like tree powder, is a little chunkier to make model trees and model moss. Oh, look. Looks like a little rainforest in there. After everything is properly weathered, I'm going to spray adhesive. Just gonna try dabbing it on there. Delectable details. Are you really in your 30s if you don't bend over and make your own sound effects? Crazy thing about this is that this coat is probably the most professional thing that I've made. And now what I'm going to do to it.
Lately, I just find during any kind of painting project, I inevitably end up using my hands. I don't know. I yearn for the finger paints.
Say hi.
Hello, it's me.
Right, so it's pretty hard to see the difference if, you know, you go like this, kind of the difference, which I think is pretty tangible. I'm gonna take, it's like a light gray. I don't wanna go quite white because I don't want it to be too crazy. Take a brush, put the slightest bit of that on there. Start putting it on kind of like the edges here, theoretically, where things would kind of wear out. Let's go. It's time to do a little experimenting. In my head, this makes total sense, but I've got my spray adhesive and my moss. Web spray adhesive. Oh. Might be more of the Spider-Man variety. That will do, pig. It's working. It's kind of cool. This is a problem that this won't go away, but oh, I see. And then I go like that. Yeah, okay. of a mess. Probably should have done this first, but I've never done this before, so.
Eventually found my groove with spraying it on first and then dabbing it to make it kind of tacky and then sticking whatever I wanted to it. It ended up looking like my fingers had their own biomes, but you know what? I think it was so worth it. This came out so cool. Good morning. It is the last day. The photo shoot is tomorrow. And here's some pictures of the location that we're gonna go to. So that means today we need to finish everything else. Something did come in the mail. Oh no. Ooh, so specifically, this smells like back to school shopping at Payless. The one time a year you would get a new pair of shoes. Sweet, sweet adolescence. Oh no. It's probably not good for someone who's afraid of heights. Okay. I'm a big brave girl. Whoa. Oh, man, maybe they should be my dusting shoes. Oh, I don't know if I like my house from this angle. Runway walk. These are actually like really easy to walk in. You sure hear me coming though. Holy hell. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to. Here's the thing. I will definitely wear these when I go to a con for this location. Whoa. Due to my sense of self-preservation, I'm gonna wear my lesser tall boots so I can traverse and pose and not worry about absolutely snapping my ankle bones in twain. Yoink. Yeah. Whoa. That's a long way down. What else needs to happen today? I need to work on the wig. My experiment of our friend here. So handsome, so angry. Something else I've been pondering. Girthy pecs on this bad boy. I think I bought this for when I was gonna revamp my Jack Sparrow. It is so heavy. Thoughts? Maybe I can use this, only maybe like so that that can go under my shirt and I don't have to paint the chest every time. Oh, so nasty. I started sketching out just the areas that I wanted to keep of this mask, which is really just the outer forehead parts. And then taking a very old Daenerys wig that I don't wear anymore, I chopped off the tiniest little blonde highlight. Then, after modifying the hairline of the wig a little bit so that it's more asymmetrical, secured the wig to the mask with hot glue. In hindsight, I don't recommend doing this because hot glue does not stick to rubber very well. I would do this with super glue. Oh my god, is that Jacob Elordi? This was already horrible to touch, but you guessed it, cutting through it felt even worse. Then it was time to do his fur boot wrap, so I just grabbed a couple fabrics from my stash and I made long strips. Nothing fancy here, I just glued them together. Then came the trials and tribulations of trying to paint the silicone chest piece. At first I tried using the silicone pigments just on their own, and then realized that you can't use that on your own and that it wasn't drying and it was not going to work. So then I tried mixing it with the silicone caulking that we had, and it kind of worked. not really end up staying though. I'll show you eventually, but I definitely have to figure something else out. Moving on to the final details, adding the buttons. And once those were weathered, it was time for the makeup transformation. Good morning. It is very early. Y'all ready to rock? I am quite scared that it's not gonna look cool or work out at all. 2 eyes, nose, jaw, Prosade cream, which is going to help me blend those edges. Skin flap. It's my brand. Hot. Who is he? This mysterious creature. My Prosade cream is not looking great. Oops, guess we're not using Prosade cream. Hee hee ha ha. To seal all the appliances, I used PAX paint, which is a mix of Prosade and acrylic paint. So I just chose a color that was gonna kind of match what I'm doing in the end. Why do I always just end up feeling like handsome Squidward? Every time. Going over that with some powder to make it less sticky. And then the wig. Normally I save this for last, but because this has prosthetics built into it, it needed to be a part of the process. Oh, I'm so scary. Then it was foundation time. I used Sunset Makeup white foundation. I'm not really in love with how this came out. No matter how many layers and how many powder layers in between, it was just too translucent. Who's that guy? Bitch, it's me. That was actually the creature's first words. They got it wrong in the movie. That's the actual Shelley lore. Then came the fun part of figuring out where all of his little jigsaw pieces went, so I was just following different angles of his reference photos. And then adding all of the different colors of the skin. Sarah's about to see how beautiful I am. Oh shit! Beautiful, huh, girl? Sorry for kind of speeding through this, but I was just shading and trying to match as well as I can. And also a little glamorous secret, I went over the lines with a bright red lipstick. And then letting down the hair, which I just used hair gel.
Those look crunchy.
Yeah, they are. The idea was for the hair to be wavy, but it didn't really work because it's a synthetic wig, so I think next time I'm gonna braid it and steam it. So I did a few more finishing touches, and then finally it was time, after 2 hours, to get dressed and head to the reveal. Ta-da! All right, my friends. You know the drill. Wrap up. What went well? what didn't go well. In this case, what I'm going to fix before I wear this to a convention, probably Katsucon, I am actually very proud of myself for this. This really does feel crazy that I made this. Like, this looks like a real coat. And I made it, which is pretty cool. And all I did was follow a pattern. Really love the coat. I love the weathering. I think the moss came out really cool. And now, as a little bonus, it has real dried mud on the bottom. I think the back is really freaking cool. I still have a few more things I want to add to this. Like, I want to add the gold trim, darken the inside of this so it's not so bright blue. I need to figure out a way to make the boot wraps work with the very tall boots. This is what I wore to the photo shoot, as you can probably tell. And then this is what I'm gonna wear to the convention. We've got a little bit more boot to hide. I'm not worried about it. People are not looking at your feet during a convention. And if they are, little freaks. None of my business. The makeup and hair, there are a few tweaks I want to do. I need a better white base. It was on there really good. It took a very long time to take it all off my face. I should probably invest in some Pros-Aid remover. The chest piece, I need to figure something else out for the convention because number one, wearing silicone on your skin is probably the worst feeling in the world. Slippery and sloppy and gross and sweaty. And my silicone paint idea did not work. It held up fine for the photo shoot. It's not looking too good right now. I can't believe I've really only been working on this for a little over a week. It was not my initial plan for this month, but once I saw the film, it slapped me with some inspiration. I hope you enjoyed. As a reminder, I am taking the entire month of December off. I will still be active with 2 or more videos over on Patreon. Hopefully we'll be doing like a holiday live stream. I'm taking a break, y'all, for the first time in 10 years. And I will see you in January. I hope you have a lovely holiday season. Be safe, eat lots of gingerbread and potatoes. I love you very much, whether you're new or old to this channel. God, what? Oh, I forgot how it went. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday, and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video.
Goodbye, Victor.
Ew.
You got something just there. Yeah, I got it.
Is that it? I swear to God.
Oh! And you had your back. I have expected you to do like the John Travolta. Is this your crib?
What's up, MTV? This is my crib.
Do I get an Oscar? You get the Oscar Isaac. No, show us that monster peen. Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?